Radhe Krishna, Shri Gurubhyo Namaha, Srimate Ramanujaya Namaha. Welcome to the Bhakti Secret episode number 16. These 81 monologues which the lady of Tirukkolur is speaking to Swami Ramanuja forms part of the Tamil Bhakti literature. It is called Tirukkolur Pen Pillai Rahasyam. So Tirukkolur is the place. Pen Pillai means a girl or a lady, and Rahasyam means secrets. That is the devotional outpourings of this lady. Now, instead of addressing her as the lady of Tirukkolur, let us retain the original Tamil word as per the literature, Pen Pillai. So we will be addressing her as Pen Pillai in the upcoming episodes. So Pen Pillai is a great devotee. She is always comparing herself, always benchmarking herself with the great devotees. So be it the devotion possessed by Akrura or the ego-free state of Vithura, or the devotion which is demonstrated by Dhruva or various Vishnu saints, Alvar saints, she is constantly comparing herself. So her comparison is again totally spiritual in nature, that I am not at that particular state, that particular level attained by the great devotees. Now even we do all such comparisons, but our comparisons are, oh, I achieved so much in the organization, yet I was passed over for promotion. What did that person do that I did not do, that I was passed over this year for promotion? Or, oh, that person has such a lovely car, that is the most recent model, good brand, so even I should go and buy that car. Or, oh, that house is so big, so nice, so when will I buy such a house? So these comparisons within us are endless. It will go as long as the desires in us persist. But even she has a desire. Pen Pillai has a desire. Her desire is to reach to the level of the devotion, of the ecstasy, of the joy which was possessed by the devotees. Now this Bhakti secret is a bit different because she is comparing with an attribute which was possessed not by the devotee but by none other than Lord Shri Krishna. Wow! So what is this attribute which she is comparing with Lord Shri Krishna himself? So the Bhakti secret episode number 16 goes this way. Pen Pillai's statement to Swami Ramanuja is, did I speak the truth like Lord Shri Krishna? Did I speak the truth like Lord Shri Krishna? Are we hearing the right thing? Truth and Shri Krishna? Because we have heard stories about Krishna talking lies. So how does this fit in? Why is Pen Pillai talking about the truth speaking attribute of Lord Shri Krishna? Now if we see from the birth of Lord Shri Krishna, he has been speaking lies. So before we form any opinion or let bias enter into our minds, let us stop for a moment and try to understand the philosophical explanation behind this statement. So Lord Shri Krishna, at the time he was born, we hear that he was born under difficult circumstances. But once he started his pranks, with his pranks came his lies. Now in Srimad Bhagavatam, which records all this experiences of Lord Krishna as a child, the Bala Leela as it is called, So that tells us about this incident where Lord Shri Krishna, along with his friends and his brother Balram, they are playing in the banks of Yamuna river, where Shri Krishna tries to taste something different. So he ends up eating some mud. Now when the kids around him see this, Balram sees this, they are terrified because they have never done such thing in their life. So when they see something different, they don't know what the implications would be. So Balram rushes to Mother Yashoda and says, Krishna was eating mud just some time back. Now kids love to complain, they enjoy seeing the other kids in trouble. They don't have any malicious intent, it is just for fun that they want to see the other kids getting scolded. So when Balram did this, Yashoda Mata, whatever she was doing at that moment, she just left and she ran to the banks of Yamuna river out of her devotional love for Krishna. So when she goes there, she asks Krishna, was he eating mud? And the first statement which Krishna utters is a lie. He says, I did not eat mud. Now there are other kids around, they say, no, we saw him eating mud. But then Krishna says, it's the other kids who are telling lies. I'm not telling any lie. So nursery rhyme comes to my mind about Johnny, Johnny, yes papa, eating sugar, no papa. Maybe it is time we also change those rhymes to suit in the Indian context where we can teach our kids. So instead of Johnny, Johnny, yes papa, it can be Krishna, Krishna, yes mama, eating mud, no mama, open your mouth. So it's the universe which is inside his mouth. So let's try to teach our kids all these stories and make rhymes out of it in the Indian context. So coming back to the story here. So when Yashoda Mata asks, Krishna starts with a lie that he did not eat the mud. So from there itself the lies started. Now there are many other incidents which are narrated in this Bhagavatam, Bala Leela, where Krishna tells lies. He plans breaking the pots carried by the gopis full of butter. So when the act is done and when they turn back to ask who did this, the person who planned is out of sight. So there are many such instances which one can go through and experience the joy when we read this Bhagavatam. Even Andal, who was the Alvar, we saw her in the Bhakti Secret earlier about how she did devotion to Krishna. Even in her compositions, she is extolling this lie-speaking attribute of Lord Shri Krishna. Many saints have sung the glories of this lie-speaking attributes of Krishna. So then why is Pen Pillai talking about or comparing herself with the truth-speaking attribute of Shri Krishna? So it's not that Krishna has never spoken truth in his avatara. So let us see the instances where he has spoken the truths and what these lies mean, and we'll try to reconcile this as we move further in this episode. So there are various instances where you can see, like in one of the cases where his old-time friend, a poor friend, Sudama, comes to meet him with some puffed rice in his hid in his cloth. So Krishna, he is elated to meet his friend after a long time. So he asks him what is the gift he has got for his old time friend. So Sudama is a bit reluctant to hand over the puffed rice to the king Krishna, but Krishna forcefully takes that puffed rice and he tells Sudama, which is the truth, that whatever a devotee offers out of pure devotion, so let it be a leaf, let it be a fruit, a flower, or even a drop of water, such gifts are very dear to him. So that was one of the truths which Krishna spoke. We also see some instances in our great epic Mahabharata. So in one of the instances when Draupadi was insulted by the Kauravas, she takes an oath on Krishna that she wants Dushasana, the Kaurava character who disrobed her, to be avenged to death. So that's when Krishna meets Draupadi and tells her that there will be something which will happen in future. That is, he was referring to the Mahabharata war which was going to come, where Dushasana would be avenged. In another instance in Mahabharata itself, towards the end, there is a character called Ashwathama who gets hold of this astra called, or a weapon called Apandavi Astra, and he aims that at the womb of Uttara. Now Uttara is the wife of Arjun, and she has this child Parikshit in her womb. Now this Apandavi Astra, when it is directed at Uttara, it actually burns the child Parikshit inside the womb, and Uttara delivers the burnt child stillborn. So it's a very depressing sight at that time, and at that time there is a divine voice from the skies which says that one who is a Naishtika Brahmachari, that means one who has never entertained any sensual thoughts ever in his life, if that person's feet touches this burnt child, this child would come to life. Now there were a lot of ascetics, saints, rishis in and around the battlefield. So one would have expected that, such people would have spent their life in meditation, in penance. So if they come and touch the child would wake up. But nobody was ready to come forward because they knew their minds. But in the midst of this chaos, there was one person who raised his hand and said, "Wait, I'm Naishtika Brahmachari." So when people turned around, it was none other than Lord Shri Krishna. Now the people started laughing that this person who had married 16,108 ladies, who did a rasa dance with the gopis in Vrindavan, how is he supposed to be a brahmachari? But Krishna doesn't care for all these comments or the thoughts which people have. He just steps forward, he places his feet on the burnt child, and Parikshit comes to life. So people around are shocked, just like people today. Even they tried to misread Krishna and his intentions. They never knew that he was the supreme God himself, and in spite of marrying 16,108 ladies or doing the rasa dance, he was beyond all these material and sensual thoughts. There was nothing in his mind to be attached to all these things. So he did it without entertaining any thoughts. He was practicing detachment, and that is what precisely he talks about in the Bhagavad Gita as well, because of which he could retain his power. Now, this people didn't understand back in those days and even today. There are many instances where people just compare themselves with Krishna when they are indulging in some cheap tactics. So it's very difficult for them to equate with the Lord, who is someone with enormous or unlimited power. He is the creator. So we better not compare ourselves with him when we are indulging in some cheap tactics or we are entertaining some low quality thoughts. So this was another instance when he proved the power of truth by bringing Parikshit to life. Now, in the same Mahabharata epic, we have the Bhagavad Gita, where Lord Krishna is delivering sermons to Arjuna to ensure that he is ready to fight the battle in spite of being deluded by the thoughts that he is going to kill his own relatives. In those sermons, whatever Krishna has spoken are eternal truths. वासांसि जीर्णानि यथा विहाय नवानि गृह्णाति नरोपराणि तथा शरीराणि विहाय जीर्णानि अन्यानि संयाति नवानि देहि. It talks about the body being a perishable commodity. That is, the human body has an end. We also see dehinosmin yatha dehe kaumaram yauvanam jara tatha dehantara prapti dhiras tatra na muhyeti. This is the common summary which we see usually about the Gita, that change is the only thing which is constant in our lives. That is, the body, it goes from being a child to the youth, then to the adult, and then old age, then death. So there is change all around. Then he also talks about a situation where he encourages Arjuna to just put up the fight. So if he wins, he still will enjoy the benefits. If he loses, he would have learned a valuable lesson. Hato va prapsyasi swargam jitva va bhokshase mahim tasmad uttishta kaunteya yuddhaya krita nishchayah. So all these eternal truths are guiding us to the extent that these are being copy pasted from the spiritual text into the world of management philosophy, behavioral philosophy. You have a lot of theories which are based out of the principles of Bhagavad Gita. So we do have all these precious gems and treasure in terms of truths which help us to lead our day-to-day life, which is coming from none other than Sri Krishna. Okay, then how do we reconcile that to the lies he spoke in his Bala Leela? Now we have to understand again the intent and the purpose with which we speak a lie and with which Lord Sri Krishna spoke lies. These again definitely can't be equated or brought to the same platform. So when we speak lies, we know heart in hearts that it is out of some selfish desires, selfish motives, or it may be to cover some malicious act which we would have done. It would fall under either these two broad categories. But what about Lord Sri Krishna? It was neither selfish desires nor any malicious act. His lies purely gave joys to the devotees of his age and even to people like us today. When we hear such Bala Leela, all that is left in our hearts is pure joy. Even Yashoda Mata experienced that unlimited joy when she saw the world inside Krishna's mouth, when she asks him to open his mouth to prove that he did not eat mud. So those lies have the capacity, have the capability to purify our hearts and help us to lead a good life. In times of depression, when we have nothing to go to, try hearing Krishna Leela. So it's not only in times of depression, even at all times we should listen to Krishna Leela, which has the capacity, as I said earlier, to purify our hearts, and it also has the capability to lift us out of our dark times. So much that these days there is a PDF document which is being circulated in the social media, that if these are the problems, specific problems which we face in our life, this is the specific verse in Bhagavad Gita which contains an answer or solution to that particular problem. So unless Gita has the truth, why should we be preparing all such PDF documents? So coming to Pen Pillai, she is comparing this attribute, truth, and who else is to be compared for truth other than Lord Shri Krishna? So she feels that she didn't speak truth like Lord Shri Krishna, and hence she is leaving the divine place. So that's what this Bhakti Secret is all about. So let us hear more about Lord Shri Krishna's divine pastimes. Let us be guided by his eternal truths, which should purify our heart and help us to live a blessed life. So stay blessed, stay devoted, and stay tuned for our next Bhakti episode. Radhe Krishna, Shri Gurubhyo Namaha, Srimate Ramanujaya Namaha.